Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of my new series, Karate Corner. In the future, this series might open up to other actors, other movies, so I decided for the now to focus on one specific man. That man is Steven Seagal. We are going to go in chronological order and track his journey into the legend he is today. How this became this, and this became this. And believe me, we will get to this, and I am so excited to get to this. But as with every great story, we must start at the beginning. And Seagal's story starts in 1988 with a buddy cop drama. So let's dive right into Above the Law. Also, quick FYI, as with my Nicolas Cage series, I cannot really censor Steven Seagal. I could try, it just wouldn't do him justice. So this is your warning. You will hear some words. Now, before he made any movies, Steven Seagal just ran an Aikido karate studio. And it's actually reported that one of his pupils, Michael Ovitz, who's a successful entrepreneur and a talent agent, got Steven Seagal to do this movie, as he was of a firm believer he could turn anybody into an action star in the 80s. In this movie, Steven Seagal plays Nico Toscani, who has a history. He was in the Vietnam War. He has ties to the mob, which is clear. They don't straight come out and say that in the movie, but it's pretty obvious. And when the movie starts, he's a cop.
They all get paid by the CIA, but these guys are from a page that ain't even in the book.
Here we have Kurt Zagon, who's like a CIA interrogator, played by Henry Silva, who's been an actor forever. The guy's got like 150 acting credits on IMDb. He's interrogating these locals about his opium dealings. His branch of the CIA is heavily involved in the drug trade. And Nico takes exception to it.
Who the fuck is this Cherry?
Nelson, I'm through. I'm finished.
Cut to Chicago, 1988. We're introduced to his wife Sarah, played by the beautiful Sharon Stone, and his partner Dolores Jackson, aka Jax, played by Pam Grier. In typical buddy cop fashion, she's a week away from retirement. We see one of my favorite characters in the whole movie. He only gets one scene, but he's so smooth.
Excuse me, but I just had to stop and tell you that you look like the sun setting on the waterfall in springtime, baby.
And you got 5 seconds, and 3 are up.
Say, you ain't got to be like, hey, you know, like Lady Cops need boyfriends too, you dig? But you have a nice day, just.
He's just a genuine gentleman.
Hey, Skifu. How you doing, Saco de Tempo? You seen this girl?
Oh, man.
So Nico finds out his niece or cousin is messing around with the wrong crowd yet again, doing drugs. So he's got to kick some ass, find some answers.
All right, who else wants some?
After asking nicely, Nico learns that she's upstairs hanging out with some mobster guy. But the scene gives Nico his plot point, a shipment of drugs coming in.
Oh, yeah? This is huge, my man. It's a shipment. It's coming in next Tuesday.
So they dress up like factory workers and try to blend in by wearing earpieces and touching their face a lot. So to prepare for this movie, Steven Seagal and Daniel Faraldo, seen here as Tony Silvano, went on a ride-along with real Chicago detectives to kind of get an idea of how a day-to-day works. And Daniel Faraldo said that Seagal intimidated the criminals they talked to way more than the cops did. And you have to give Seagal credit, because I don't think he did all of his stunts in this movie, but he did a lot of them.
Stop the fucking car!
So Tony gets busted, and when they go back to check out the engine, rather than finding drugs, they find military C4. And they're barely in custody any time at all when a phone call gets received, and somebody higher up says, let him go. And now we get our second major plot point, because Kurt Zagon is somehow tied up into this. Nico and his group, rightfully so, are angry that this criminal is back on the streets, and they're told to leave it alone.
Nico, keep it in your pants, all right? These men have a job to do just like we do. Start a game, let them play it.
I believe you have my stapler.
But Nico doesn't have time to listen to Melvin, and he follows Silvano to a church. Nico's actually already friends with this priest because it's his mother's church, and he's introduced to our next plot point.
My friend Father Tomasino is
a visiting priest from another country who's helping illegals get into the country safely, or so he claims. During that conversation, the priest also convinces Nico to attend Mass on Sunday Conveniently the same day, a bomb goes off at the church.
Get down!
So Nico thinks Silvano is behind the bombing because the bomb smelled like C4, which Nico knows because he was in Vietnam and did a bunch of CIA stuff. So he searches for him at the restaurant, and he's not at the restaurant. Meanwhile, Jax, a week away from retirement, also helps and learns that one of the people in the bombing was an aide to the senator. Nico searches long enough to attract the attention of some goons, and we get an awesome fight. Now, rather than hire and train a bunch of stuntmen, they actually just use a lot of Steven Seagal's own martial arts students for these scenes. And it made scenes like these quick and easy. We learned that the hit was obviously called by Silvano, and we get my favorite ad-lib of the whole movie, one of many things Seagal ad-libs throughout his career, as you'll come to learn.
If I find out you're lying, we'll come back and kill you in your own kitchen.
After punching this good Samaritan straight in the chest, we get the weirdest Seagal strut and a weird interaction.
What's happening, brother?
Yo, what'd it be like, homie? That was real good, man.
Recapping our top
Peace,
story.
brother.
Yeah, Jax, this better be good.
It's bad, Nico.
So Nico's friend from Nam warns him that this runs deeper than he thinks. And the next thing you know, his house is getting searched.
Who do you think you are, you guys, coming in here treating my son like a criminal? Who do you think you are? Just stop it!
During the search, the detective's like, ooh, that's a nice coat. I want that coat. Hey.
Check that coat. Why don't you come and check it, asshole?
And he's forced to turn in his badge and his gun.
I want your badge and your gun.
So he reacts like a teenager losing his cell phone and just goes and gets a gun from a friend.
Thanks.
I don't believe this.
He survives this insane mob hit and Houdinis his way not just outside of his car, but somehow behind all the cars to the last car in the line, convinces all of them to put their guns down and says, I'll shoot any of you who moves. This guy moves. And then he realizes this is just murder at this point, and he runs away.
Second priest from Costa Rica. Hiding in the church. He was the one they meant to kill.
The plot is so simple, it's kind of confusing. And thankfully we get a scene like this where they just straight tell us what's happening. So Nico forces Agent Neely to go to the holding area to see what happened to the C4 and if it's actually gone.
Hell, that's gone.
Nico's obviously not happy and makes the agent jump into the lake. And we get more Steven Seagal trying to ad-lib.
And if you don't hurry, I'm going to empty this gun in your butt.
Nico learns that basically a hit squad has shown up into Chicago, and that Kurt Zagon is leading it. Zagon and his boys track down the priest, and he does what he does best. He now reveals his actual plan. They're trying to assassinate the senator, but this priest somehow knows about the plan. So they need to make sure he didn't tip off the senator, otherwise it's all going to fall apart.
You've always been alone. Now you'll be with me. Together.
Not listening.
So Nico and the crew bust in an attempt to rescue the priest, and Jax gets shot in the chest.
I was 2 days from retirement.
But in a twist, she was wearing a vest.
Yeah, she's gonna be all right.
So Seagal attempts to spy on the enemy, but he gets caught.
Poor innocent priest finds out he comes here, but you can't kill the senator until you find out if the Padres talked.
Thank God we have Nico to reiterate what we already know.
Why not? The Romans did.
So his buddy from Nam attempts to get him out of trouble. We get caught up in a big gunfight, and Silvano gets launched out of a building. And we get the worst practical effect. But nobody does 2 takes in a Steven Seagal movie, so we move forward. On his way out of the parking garage, he gets sideswiped and captured. And during the torture scene, Henry Silva actually breaks Steven Seagal's nose. And the shot they put in the movie is the shot of it happening. And because they barely restrain him with zip ties, he breaks out, kills everybody. And then we get the scene that made Seagal famous. The break heard around the world. For the squeamish, I won't play the audio. For the 80s, this was freaking brutal, but was a large contributor to why he became so popular. So our hero successfully foils their plot, saves the senator, and gets thanked personally.
Thank you personally.
And that'll do it. That was above the law. Now, honestly, I thought I was going to make fun of him a lot more in this movie than I wound up doing, but that's because this is the beginning of his career, and he hasn't become the insanity that he is today. As I said, we will get there. I'm so excited to get there. I cannot wait to talk about his do-rags and his yellow-tinted sunglasses and his massive body armor to hide his fat.
I will snatch every motherfucker birthday.
That'll happen. But for now, let's just enjoy what he was, and then we'll get to that mess. Thank you all for sticking through to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy.